Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 10th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
You're feeling relaxed and pumped and recharged?
Relaxed, revived, recharged and ready for action, Phil, because there's lots of auctions coming up this weekend.
What a big weekend.
And, we need it. We need the energy, Phil, because it was a bit hot there a couple of weeks ago.
It was. Well, it was hot in the market and it was also physically hot. Hopefully this weekend will be cooler.
It was pretty hot inside the old suit there too on Sunday.
What's your ideal temperature for the weekend when you're auctioning?
22.
Yeah, I reckon I'm a kind of 20, 21, 22. That's the perfect. You can stand there in a suit and tie, inside or out, and it's great. Once it hits 24 and beyond, it gets hot. But when it gets into the 30s,
24 is okay.
That's hard work.
30 plus, and humidity. That's not a lot of fun and not very nice on the nose, Phil. But let's, without any further ado, let's bring on Anthony Lee, the leader of our property management division in our Carnegie Marambina branch. Let's find out what's going on in the world of pets,
new residential tenancies
property management. Well, we have great pleasure in introducing and welcoming Anthony Lee, the head of our property management division in our Carnegie Marambina zone, Philip.
Yes, Gary, it's a very big zone too now.
Big zone.
Anthony, welcome aboard. You've got a big job.
Very big job and a big zone.
Absolutely. So between Anthony in Carnegie Marambina and Jenny in Kilda and Caulfield, they seem to manage properties.
Forgotten the Bentley division, Gary.
Of
so
course,
you know, let's make sure we get
Bentley
the facts
office,
out
of course.
there.
Well, we've got Amanda and the coal running Bentley doing a wonderful job. We've got a big team of leaders, and we've got big things happening in the world of property management, which is why we wanted you to come on to GPTV. Firstly, how was your long weekend? Did you have a nice break?
It was a great weekend, yes.
Very good, very good.
Nice to have 3 days off.
It sure is, and now we're in a whole new world in property management because it's the pet world, Phil and Anthony, where pets rule.
So the viewers may know that I understand animals given my farming background.
Should we talk a little bit about your relationship with animals?
But the
days I was on the farm?
The whole pet thing, the domestic pet thing has kind of passed me by because pets were not a thing in the country. So tell me about this whole invitation of pets now in under the new residential tenancies law. Apparently they now have rights too.
Pets rule.
They do indeed, yes. On the 2nd of March last week, the new legislation came in and now tenants are certainly able to have pets in their properties. And there's a bit of a process that's required to be done and forms and requirements and
forms.
Authorisation.
I'm a big one on quality of detail.
You love forms and detail, Phil. You're known for that.
So there is now a pet application, is there?
There's a pet application. It's a 4-page form that a tenant must
and you've got to
complete.
Am I right that for identification you have to get the paw, you have to get the blueprint of the paw put on the application?
4 points of identification.
We're still waiting. We're still waiting to get the actual form, and we're waiting with bated breath to see what the first one comes in at.
So let me ask you some interesting and probing questions here, because you know you're going to get probed on this hard-hitting show.
Expecting that.
Hard facts.
Absolutely.
Okay, I've got a pet llama.
Hard
chat, yes. I've got a pet llama. I love my llama, and I want my llama to be with me in my studio apartment in Marambina. Is that okay?
Well, at the moment, as far as the legislation, in theory, yes, you are, and you have to request permission to bring your llama into your property.
Okay, yeah.
So,
but is there a definition in the new Victorian legislation as to what is a pet and what isn't a pet?
There's no definition, and that's, in the past it's been probably normal cats, dogs, guinea pigs, things like that. But now it's a pet, and we're all waiting to find out how the law is interpreted, to see what's the definition of a pet. Could be a llama, could be a wombat, could be cat, dog,
snake,
cobra, all sorts of
to introduce the seriousness to this, because this is a serious change.
Why do I think you're not going to say something not serious?
No, completely serious. So this is serious legislation. Does a vendor, like if we use the as a landlord, if we use the 1-bedroom example, and we manage a lot of 1-bedrooms,
we sure do.
Are we allowed to request to see a photo of the animal?
Well, it's interesting. They can send through photos. They can tell us the pet's name, the breed, the age, the characteristics of it. It's all got to be completed in the form.
Are you hoping to see the photo in a particular setting?
No, but in all seriousness, if I've got a 1-bedroom apartment and it's an important investment to me, and somebody who's a good applicant applies for the property, but they happen to have, I don't know, a massive, what are those Great Danes?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to go, you know what, this is a disproportionate size animal for my apartment? Am I allowed to discriminate on the basis of size and type of animal?
What you need to do is you need to reject, I suppose, the tenant's application for the pet, thinking that it's not suitable, especially, as you say, if you've got a one-bedroom apartment, maybe upstairs, no balcony, and so effectively pet's going to be in the property all day.
Yes.
There could be issues there.
Yeah.
But the landlord, unfortunately, has a responsibility now to object.
Yes.
And then put forward the reasons why they don't believe their property is suitable.
Yeah.
Now, we also talk about pet. Let me put an S on the end of that. I say pets, because now I'm a cat woman who's just sold my home in the country, and I've got my 8 cats. I love those 8 cats. And I now want to rent a one-bedroom apartment in Carnegie and have my 8 cats with me. Is there any limitation as to my 8 cats?
At the moment, as far as the legislation is concerned, there is, again, no limits.
Okay.
So pets, 8 cats.
Yep.
We don't know whether that could be 2 dogs, 2 cats, two
Llamas.
llamas,
Yeah.
2 pythons.
Yep.
Again, they have to fill out the form, and then it's up to us to be able to look after our clients' interests and make sure that, if it's not really suitable, to be able to explain that to someone independent, and then they make the decision they don't believe the premises is suitable for though pet or pets.
I mean, if you jump on the other side of the fence, I mean, if I'm an owner of a property and I'm in a block of apartments and I've got a dog, why shouldn't the tenant have the same right? On that basis, I think it's very fair and reasonable, although there are body corporates that not so long ago would say you can't have pets. So that's another interesting one. I don't know whether a body corporate now has that discriminatory right anymore either, or whether the residential tenancy laws override that, because that's another interesting little conundrum.
Well, it is, and again, we're feeling our way through all this new legislation, which is quite imprecise at the moment, hasn't been tested. So all of our colleagues in the industry are working out what is going to be acceptable and what is not going to be acceptable, and get the guidance back from VCAT to see how it's going to be interpreted.
So I'm going to go on the front foot here and put the case for the affirmative, because all of our viewers are expecting me to slam this new legislation.
Of course they are, yeah.
So I'm going to go on the front foot for the affirmative. And
Andrew Bolt Kingston over here.
I'm going to challenge the two of you to say whether I'm wrong or right.
Yeah.
We now live in an age where most people are pet friendly. It's something that's taken very seriously across all sectors of society.
Correct,
So why shouldn't we have a pet?
Yes.
I'd also say to you that some people are far messier and unpleasant than
the
their
animals
pets.
that they have,
But here's my crux of my point. Doesn't a good property manager ensure that at the end of the lease, all of the paperwork is in place so that the bond reports are done to the point that if there is any damage by the pet,
The landlord is protected.
The landlord is protected. So isn't this a case for the affirmative for professional property managers to rise to the top?
Look, I do believe that, yes, it's going to be even more and more important to make sure property owners have got their estate agent looking after their best interests, and there are people who will not be able to interpret the legislation and deal with the forms and the bond and making sure that tenants are held responsible for anything that their pets may cause, which has been the case in the past, but now if there's been permission granted, then it should be a lot clearer to say the landlord did give you permission to have your dog, cat on the property. You need to take responsibility for that.
I don't want to create fear here, but if you're a landlord managing your own property, is that starting to become a little bit more complicated now?
This new legislation surely got to send a shiver down owner managers.
Well,
absolutely. Look, the new legislation is coming on board, and it's going to take effect in July 2020. This legislation has just come out last week. We believe that there's going to be things just drip feeding out through over the next few weeks and next few months.
How much notice did we have about this coming on the 2nd of March?
Really, we found out the Thursday before.
Right.
So we didn't get a lot of note. We knew that it was happening.
Yeah.
We
By
knew that it
July,
was
I think.
coming,
By
but it
July?
was going to happen in July.
Right.
But then all of a sudden it came out Thursday
March,
night. It took effect on March the 2nd. So
Why would that happen?
Do you know what? That's just good
political.
that's bureaucracy at its finest.
Okay.
But we can debate whether that was good or bad. Let's just stick to the facts that
We've got to deal with
the
it.
changes here. And I think, by the way, change is one of those things that we all go, oh, the world is going to collapse. But in reality, we all adjust.
Yes.
But my vision of this, because there's been a lot of discussion around this, my vision of this is that good property managers are really just going to rise to the top. And I think that when you've got a great property management division like we have, and certainly with people like you that anchor it, Anthony, I think that we're just going to navigate our way around this. And 12 months' time, we probably won't be debating it at all.
You're right about change. You know, the old timers like Anthony, I would remember the Residential Tenancies Act before there was the landlord tenant GST, and then older people like you would remember the invention of the wheel, I suppose. Electricity. So I suppose you'd know about that as well.
That was a big one.
That was a big one.
That was a game changer.
So, Anthony, there's some other changes too under the new legislation. I think about leases or periodic terms, or is there something else also coming that we should know about?
There is changes to rent increases are limited to once per annum.
And that's fair enough, by the way. I reckon that's fair enough too.
There is new legislation in relation to possibly minimum standards. Again, we're waiting for the detail as far as
around heating and cooling,
whether
even
it's
cooling as well. Is
possibly
that in or not?
Again, we're not sure about cooling.
Are you telling me that people now want to have pets, but they also want heating and cooling?
Well, Phil, the pets have to be comfortable, don't they? I mean, if you've got a sweating llama, it doesn't make for a very happy occupation.
It's not a good bedfellow, really, is it?
Not a good bedfellow. It's not going to be good for the rest of the block. People are going to walk past flat number 3 and going, well, it's that llama again. So I think we need to have heating and cooling, and we need to look after our pets and love them.
So in a moment, we're going to put up on screen your contact details, because I think what's really important is that any landlord, any landlord that's got any questions about this, let's put up your email address.
If you don't mind,
because I think that the emails should definitely start coming through with people with a list of questions. But you operate out of our Murrumbina Road office, and there's a number of reception rooms there where you would be happy to actually meet with people, discuss it through.
Meet their pets.
I think, Anthony, and I'm just going to throw this idea at you, Gary, I think we should probably have an information evening for landlords. We can do that out of our office at 198 Balaclava Road, but I think it'd be great to have you in with maybe, let's see some emails come through, top 10 questions, and maybe we'll address that in a greater forum.
And certainly when there's a bit more clarity about how the legislation is going to be, because at the moment there is still uncertainty. And it's only when you start to get things come through that you can actually then interpret it correctly. So, but our staff are meeting and training with some of the great people involved in the legislation and the institute, and training to get up to speed with all the new bits and pieces that we all need to become aware of. And so as that becomes clearer even more, and that benefit will flow through to all of our clients.
Thank you. And you and Jenny, I know, are getting that rolling, all of that educational information out. Now, just before you run off, you've now been with us for, about 8 months or so. How are you finding it all? Because you've been in Murrumbina Road for how many years? Or with
30 years, I think. 30 years.
Okay, so you've just got a new badge on now. Nothing else has changed. All the people are there, and many people you've worked with, of course, are all still there, plus a few extras. How's it going for you so far?
No, it's all going very well. Very well. It's been very much almost a seamless transition. Fantastic. And it's working well. So
it's a seamless transition, but I would like to just say that you look sartorially elegant today. How is it working with a guy that cannot even get his collar right to appear on a GPTV episode with you?
Well, I was wondering actually whether I should be wearing the tie.
No, I think you've set a new sartorial elegance, and thank you for raising the standards. Thanks for coming on the show today. It's been really good, and we're going to put your details up on screen, and we'll invite emails coming in, and hopefully we'll be able to help those landlords that are watching the show.
Thank you, Anthony.
We certainly will.
And thank you, Jenny, for rolling out all of this information for our clients and for our team. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, Phil, well, it's good to have Anthony Lee on talking about property management and the residential tenancies and what's happening with the pets, the new laws, Philip. There's always something happening, always something changing.
And you know what? I think that's what we've all got to remember, that we live in a changing world, and we should never be terrified of change. We've really just got to look at change, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I think in a year's time, business as usual will continue in the world of property management. But as we said, it is really important to have a really good property management team.
Yeah, you've got to know what you're on about, Phil, because if you're behind the 8 ball there, you can get caught, and all of a sudden you can have a whole farm inside your one-bedroom apartment. That's no fun, is it, Phil? I don't know whether pigs are allowed as pets as well. Could you have a pig pet?
Do you know what? There is no reason that if the pig is domesticated, Gary, you can have a pig.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you're a tenant in Eastern Kilda and you've got a pig squealing out of your door in Hawthorne Street. Don't think that'll go down well.
It's not going to go down well.
Phil, shall we talk about what is going down well, Phil? Because we've got 22 auctions this weekend. We start off on Saturday. You are very busy. We are going to whack you very hard this weekend. We're going to whack you hard, Phil.
Viewers, before we jump into it, just a quick word about where the market's up to. There is no question that 2020 has started with a roar. All of our results to date have been strong. Most of our properties are selling either at the top end or over the top end. Buyers are wanting to buy. Sellers are getting off the sidelines and now entering. So there's a lot more activity around now.
There's a lot of roar, wasn't there? There was, sadly, there was a roar of the bushfires. And then there was the roar of the animals who are living in the apartments. And then there's the roar of the property market, Philip, which is flying right now and very exciting. Very different. I mean, a year ago, let's just talk about this. Turn back the climb.
Talk about the clock
a year ago.
Talk about night and day, Gary.
You know, a year ago, what was happening then?
Well, not a lot actually. Well, actually, there was a big increase in BMWs and Mercedes being repossessed in the middle of the night outside agents' houses. That was happening. This time 12 months ago, Gary, it was a pretty hard, grueling time in the real estate market.
And the agents are buying those cars back now, Philip.
Well, they are.
They're putting the Hyundais, putting back the Hyundais.
How clever they were to have the car repossessed and then buy it at a mortgagee's auction.
Right, I don't think an agent can be that clever, Phil. Phil, 10:30 a.m. We've got triple auction action. We're going to start off in Hawthorne Road.
Gary,
let's whip through here.
What a great apartment, what a great address, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Can't go wrong. I love that position.
Glenn Bricker handles and Jeremy Rose is auctioning, and that is a really special apartment, Philip, Nearham Road. Jack Slater's been the agent for this. Leor is the auctioneer in his hood in Carnegie.
Beautiful building. Look at the architecture there. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, one basement car park, together with a lock-up storeroom. What's going on in Carnegie is absolutely phenomenal.
Phil, our property of the week is going to be auctioned on Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Now, if you watch Dallas,
I did.
Did you watch Dallas? Do you remember the name of the house?
Yeah.
Remember the name of the house?
Yeah. South Fork.
Yes, you got it. Very good on you.
Cool. Bang!
Oh, I thought I really caught you there.
Yeah,
You said, I did watch Dallas.
You know, it's just caught that ball. Yeah, got that
Well
one.
done. Well done.
Just dodged that bullet. Yeah, it's all good.
I'll give you that.
Bring it on.
So, property of the week for 14 Remuera Road is South Fork. It was sort of built on the premise and the principle and the style of the South Fork. It looks like a magnificent homestead sort of style, regal, beautiful looking, elegant property right in the middle of Caulfield, Southfield, and what a big block of land.
Massive parcel of land, north facing at the back. This is a house you can move straight into. It is a delight from start to finish, and one of the treats about this property, Gary, it's got a fully self-contained either home office or an apartment. So
or medical surgery, Phil.
It could be all of these. It could be all of these things, Gary, but it's a super impressive house, and I love that street.
As do I, Philip. That's at 10:30 a.m. I'll meet you there because I've been involved with the clients who are delightful people.
You have been, Gary.
I'm loving that, Phil. But you can just be dismissed at 11:30. Jump across the road to Hodder Street, Brighton East, Phil, because you're going to be meeting Jared Martin and offering this terrific
3
home.
bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a lock-up garage, beautifully renovated throughout. This style of property, Gary, is absolutely in demand. These properties now in this price range, you're now seeing multiple bidders, and it's just great. Happy real estate.
Let's move on to Fulton Street. Tennis, anyone?
What a great 1-bedroom apartment. Interesting block. First of all, incredible position, but this is a building that has a tennis court.
It's a Melrose place, Phil.
And a swimming pool, so it's very Melrose-ish, and that's a great apartment.
I love Lubrano Street, Philip, in East Brighton, and I know that Leon is the East Brighton agent. He sells more there than anybody, Phil.
Anybody, Gary.
And he's doing a great job, and this one you've been involved with.
Can you stop saying doing? It's doing a great job, and this is a great Carter Grange, brand new property, complete with red door, which I must say does look very impressive. This is beautiful from the front fence to the back fence and everything in between. They really do know how to deliver a superior product, and that's one of them.
And I'll stop doing that. It's annoying.
Yeah.
1:30, Phil. You continue on your auction roll. You're going to be at 316A. What a Bambra Road.
Busy boy I am. Well, shout out to the developers behind this. That does set a benchmark in what good architecture, what great interior design, and what great attention to detail gives you, because this is one of the best properties of its type that I think we've ever had, and right near Princess Park and Fress and Delish and Mr. Brightside. What a beautiful property, complete, Gary, I don't mind saying, with full suite of Gaggenau appliances, which are the Rolls Royce of cooking.
They are indeed, Phil. I have to say to you, Saturday is an interesting day because it's the
Why is
day
that,
of
Gary?
the Caulfield All-Star Mile, Philip. There is the richest 1,600 metre race in racing in the world.
The richest 1,600, what's the
race.
prize?
$5 million, Philip.
Wow,
That's
that is
not
a rich
bad, is
race.
it? That's big.
How do you enter,
for
Gary?
March.
Are we going to put the details up on screen?
Firstly, you have to be a horse, so you can't enter, so I'm sorry about that. Secondly, you have to be fit and strong and be a racehorse. But it's interesting, Phil. One of our clients got a share in one of the horse called Mr. Quickie, so good luck to them for Mr. Quickie.
Yep.
We could make some jokes about that name,
Which
who
we're
it was
not
named
going to.
after. We're not going to because it's a clean show. But that's at Caulfield, so just be careful on Saturday. You don't get too close to racecourse.
All right.
A lot of people will be there, Philip.
Gary,
Malane
let's
Street,
talk
let's
about
go to
Malane Street, Ormond.
What a
We've got to
great
love
looking
this. These period homes and Malane
Great
Street.
looking.
What a great location, because you've got the train and the shopping strip on your doorstep. You've also got the incredible park just walking distance from there. Malane Street, great spot, great house. Come down and check that one out.
1 hour later, Philip, we're going to be at Fraser Street, Ormond, just literally a street or two away. Another great looking
Gary,
home.
685 square metres of prime land, together with a very livable and renovatable house. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You can do so much with that wonderful opportunity.
Saturday wraps up, Philip, very quickly in Noel Street, East Brighton, a terrific looking property on a nice parcel of land.
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, beautiful home throughout. Great opportunity to get into the market, and we do so love that spot.
Curtain closes on Saturday, opens for Sunday, 10:30 a.m, double auction action. I get to do an auction on 10:30 on Sunday morning, Philip. I'm looking forward to it. But Leo first.
Yes.
Edith Street, you can't have your cake and Edith too.
Gary and Edith was the name of your dear
was.
late mother,
She was.
and Edith Street is a great street. But this is an incredible house. 6 bedrooms, Gary, and that great postmodernist architecture of the 60s and 70s.
Love the look of
This is a timeless home in an incredible location.
Philip, we have literally the team of Darren Krongol, Sally Zolman, Idan Gutman, Daniel Fisher and Lisa Schalit have been run, and Janet Wu have been run off their feet, Philip, for the sale of this property in Goulet Street, this magnificent
Well,
one.
Gary, we've progressively been selling apartments in this building, and this has got a courtyard, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, incredible in size, one of the best in the building, and obviously a great location.
Philip, Sunday at 11:30 a.m, we're dedicating the entire time for this auction in Bambra Road. Take us through it quickly.
Well, it's a beautiful home. It's been in the same family for such a long time. It's 733 square metres of prime Bambra Road real estate, with the most glorious home. You could move straight into it on settlement day and then contemplate how you might further improve it, but you're going to love it and live in it if you own it.
Phil, we've got to speed up here because we're running out of time. We've got triple auction action at 12:30, starting off in Inkerman Road, Phil.
Great opportunity to buy a fabulous ground floor apartment, complete with courtyard and deck area, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Love that
I get
location.
the auction honours to do it with Leon there.
You do?
Philip, we're going to stay in Inkerman Road. I reckon there's a real chance that our speakers might cross over.
Gary, this is the most incredible house, 659 Inkerman Road, Caulfield North. I love this house. It's a 60s sensational. It's got the entire package, single story, beautiful to look at, swimming pool, back garden, incredible entertaining areas. I love this house. So viewers, buyers, if I push you hard, I'll be doing you a favour at the end.
Jack Slater's handling this property in Tranmere Avenue. Leo is the auctioneer. Take
Gary,
us
what a great property. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 car spaces in the basement. You couldn't get a better property than that, and it's just beautiful in every aspect.
I'm looking forward to meeting at 1:30 at this incredible home, Philip. I love the look of this home in Craddock Avenue. What a fantastic frontage, what a beautiful facade, and
How
what a great
lucky
position.
are we to get these houses?
Yes,
That
we
is
are.
an incredible position, walking distance to the tram in Hawthorne Road and Caulfield Park. And of course, it's a 60s sensation,
Hold
Gary.
on, hold on, Phil.
Solid as a proverbial rock.
Philip, 2:30, we stay in Bambra Road. We are the Bambra Road agents. We're going to sell the whole street, I reckon, before too long.
Anybody would think there's a freeway coming through, but there's not. It's
not at
just
all.
that we've had so many wonderful sales on Bambra Road.
Number 98 coming up now, Phil. Tell
Gary,
us
this is on the corner of Glen Ira Road, a really stately property, a great opportunity to get into the marketplace, and certainly livable as it is today, plenty of upside, wonderful parcel of land.
Philip, wrapping up Sunday, I should say, in Otira Road is our second last auction. That's a great address.
Gary, I've been blessed to be part of this sale. Lovely people that own it. They've lived there so happily for decades. The perfect orientation at the back with that swimming pool. It's a family home, all of the bedroom accommodation you'd ever want, but brilliant entertaining areas. Formal lounge dining room, works a treat, but it's the kitchen meals family room that I love there.
Sunday finishes in Balaclava Road. We've got auction action of this incredible, phenomenal property.
Gary,
Phil.
brand new architect design building by Amnon Weber Architects, who do such a wonderful job.
Sure
We've got 2 apartments there, Gary, GO4 and GO5, both ground floor apartments, both with their own private courtyard garden. And I love so much about this building, but each one of these apartments has 2 car spaces, which is highly unusual.
To use a GO term, Phil, GO, they are beautiful apartments. So we look forward to showing you through those. That brings down the curtain on a very busy weekend running through Sunday. You have got, I think, 7 auctions on Sunday, 6 on Saturday. Ooh. So you better take a Barocca on Friday night.
I'll be going out dancing on Sunday night. Yeah, why not? Go to the Rio School of Dance.
This is where your fitness shows through, Phil. This is where your morning fitness, your strength, your disciplined diet, your clean living.
All of that.
All of those things.
All of that gets me through an auction weekend without dying.
Exactly right. Good to have you alive. It's good to be alive in this March 2020 when there's so much going on in the real estate world, Phil. And we're going to bring it to the viewers' attention week in, week out, coming at you on GPTV. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fantastic week.